Hey everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm here in this crazy getup because today we're going to be talking about gardening and specifically about bugs. So getting rid of bugs indoors and out. If you have bugs in your house and you're really just sick and tired of them, today's your day. And if you don't have that many bugs, well, I'm glad because I've got a ton. And I have to tell you, when I go outside, I see even more and it makes me a little bit crazy. So I'm not going to keep this hat on, I don't think, for the whole time, but it is it's an oldie but a goodie, I have to say. We are have some great tips for you, some things that you can do, some things that you can eliminate, and some easy recipes for you to follow so that you can get rid of those bugs. Everybody wants their house to be bug-free. We want our garden maybe not to be bug-free because there are some really good bugs that help us in the long run, but maybe we don't want that prized plant to be covered with bugs. That's really just horrible, right? We don't like that at all. So we want to make sure that we're able to get rid of what we want to get rid of and also save what we want to save. The last thing is we want to make sure that we're using something that's 100% natural, because we don't want to put anybody in our family, not ourselves, not our kids, not our pets, in jeopardy by using something that's toxic. So if you're just joining us, I'm so happy that you're here. We're going to be talking today about bugs, and I think bugs are really a big subject. It's a terrific way for us to get into that sort of spring feeling, if you will. And if you haven't been here before, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. And also, if you have been here before, thank you for coming back. It means a lot to me that you come back every single week, and then I get a chance to see you and see your shiny, smiling faces. It really is, it's a pleasure to be here with everybody every week. So let's get started. So number one is obviously welcome. I'm thankful that you're here. If you're not a gardener, well, let's start here first. If you are a gardener, let me know in the chat. I want to hear. Maybe you just have some really amazing plants on your balcony or on your windowsill. You take really good care of them. How about this? Give me a thumbs up if you have a green thumb. Give me a thumbs up if you have a green thumb in the chat. I want to hear it now. All of you who are out there and thinking, I don't have a green thumb, everything that I have dies. It's okay. Today, we're not talking about growing plants. Today, we are talking about getting rid of bugs. So if you can give me a thumbs up in the chat, that would be great. Or if you have your camera on, you can also give me a thumbs up. Either one is fine. Today we are on a kind of a roll, I would say. We've had some great weeks in the weeks past, and next week we're going to be making a big announcement because it's my birthday week, and as you know, I always celebrate my birthday in a big way. My birthday is actually next Friday, a week from this Friday, and Wednesday is my wedding anniversary. So always that first week in June, I go all out, and that means I want you celebrating with me. Hooray! And we're going to be doing the same thing this year. So stay tuned. Next Monday, we're going to have some big announcements. I know in the list of announcements for what's coming up, it says immunity, which sounds a little boring. It should really say dun, 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 big announcement, and we're going to be giving away lots of prizes, which is a lot of fun. I've been on an essential oils journey, I would say, for about a long time now, but I don't want to say how long, but it's okay. And really have come to feel like it's part of my life. It's part of the things that I do, and everything that I do has to do with natural, and that's something that I really like. So I don't see anybody. Jacqueline says no green thumb, but I try. I have a veggie garden and some flower pots. So nice, congratulations. So how about if you give me, nobody gave me a 1 or anything or any thumbs up. How about if you give me a 1 if you have a green thumb? Oh, number 1. It might be hard to find that thumbs up, but if you give me a 1 if you have a green thumb, and you can give me a 2 if you don't have a green thumb at all. So one of the reasons that I really like doTERRA is that, of course, everything's grown in its indigenous environment. There's nothing added, nothing taken away, no synthetic dyes, pesticides, or contaminants of any kind. They're pure, unadulterated. I really love them. And when we're talking about gardens, we don't want to add a lot of chemicals into our garden or onto our plants, especially if they're plants that we're going to consume later. So one of the ways that I first started gardening was when I lived in an apartment. I actually had a little window box, and I would put some herbs in there, things like basil or parsley or anything that was seasonal, a little bit of cilantro, any herbs that I personally wanted to grow and I thought would grow well in the windows that I had. And I kind of expanded that as time went on. I lived in an apartment for a long time. I grew up, as many of you know, in Manhattan. And first I started with a window and then a window box, which was outside. And then finally I was blessed to have a little bit of a balcony. And then I kind of went crazy and I had vines growing on the balcony. I really went all out. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm getting some 2s and some 1s, which is great. Some of you are saying no, that you do not have a green thumb. It's okay. Even if you don't, you're going to learn today about some ways to get rid of bugs, and not just on plants. Okay. Always amazing. Yes, doTERRA is always amazing. One of the ways that it is amazing is through its co-impact sourcing and its Healing Hands Foundation. And we know that Healing Hands really is just kind of the backbone of doTERRA. All of the administrative costs of the Healing Hands Foundation are paid for by doTERRA, ensuring that 100% of all the donations go directly to the person who's receiving the aid. So you never have to worry that if you donate that $1 at the bottom of your order, and you can do that basically once a month, that $1 is going to go into someone's pocket. No, it's going directly to the charities that doTERRA supports. And of course, there's a large click here button on how to support the Healing Hands Foundation. I've got some quick videos for you that I'm actually going to add into the chat. You can watch them a little bit later. Everyone from farmers to harvesters and distillers who contribute to doTERRA's production are really thought about every time a Healing Hands Foundation grant or service goes out. So keep it in mind. It is a really wonderful organization. And I feel like if we're talking about nature and the earth, we want to make sure that we're honoring the people who actually help us get the products that we need. One of the reasons why I've stayed with doTERRA as long as I have is that I feel like it's a really honorable company. And I want to be involved with companies that I can kind of look behind the screen and say, oh yeah, I'm aligned with their values. So this is a kind of cool quote, not a great one though, right? Dr. Herbert Needleman says, we're conducting a toxicological experiment in our society in which our children and our children's children are the experimental subject. He's from the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. Number 1 on the hit parade is reducing our toxic load. We don't want to become an unfortunate statistic, and the versatility of essential oils can help us do a little bit of that. And while oils can help you do things like, I don't know, clean your home, reduce stress, manage seasonal threats, help you with your digestion, and so on and so forth, we're going to focus today on getting rid of pests. So whether it's protecting your pride and joy, your beloved rose bush or your beloved plant in your home, if it's not, then just getting rid of those nasty ants that drive us all crazy in the summertime. So many of you know about TerraShield, but you may not know that there's a new and updated formula. In case you have one of the older bottles, I would say more than a year old, that you should seek out the new ones if you possibly can. The new one includes ylang-ylang, cedarwood, catnip, lemon, eucalyptus, lycia, arborvitae, nuka, and vanilla bean absolute. It still has that kind of warm, inviting smell, which I have to say I've never understood, because for me, that seems like bugs, come here and bite me, but it actually works. Who would have thunk it? And about a year ago, what happened was doTERRA actually looked more deeply into the science, and the essential oils that they added and the ones added to the blend are actually proven and have a lot of scientific evidence to support that they will repel bugs, which is what prompted the change in the formula. So you can use this on yourself, you can use it on your children. If you are a person who wants to kind of DIY it, you can make a pest spray yourself using the bottle. And I'm going to just post this in the chat really fast so you can see it. Add 4 ounces of purified water and 50 drops of TerraShield in a spray bottle. So 4 ounces of water is about 250 milliliters. Getting good, aren't I? I wasn't always that good at metric. 250 milliliters with 50 drops, and then you can spray it on yourself, on your furniture. Make sure, of course, if you're spraying it on anything that's a little bit delicate or that you're concerned about, make sure you spray it in an unnoticeable spot. So if you can put it on a table, let's say your outdoor patio furniture, something that you have out on your balcony, spray it on the underside just to make sure it's not going to make a stain or spot. We don't want to ruin your furniture or anything like it. These oils are potent, and we want to make sure that they're doing their job, but not making you miserable, right? We want to make you happy. Here's a good recipe for gardener's hand soap. Now, you may not be the type of person who's digging in a garden, but this is an excellent hand soap if you've been cleaning your house and trying to scrub and get rid of bugs. So the reason it has the white sugar in there is the sugar acts as a gentle scrub for your hands. So half a cup of white sugar, half a cup of Castile soap, 2 tablespoons of fractionated coconut oil, a teaspoon of vitamin E, and 15 drops of geranium essential oil. Now, half a cup and a half a cup is, again, about 250 milliliters each. And then a soup spoon of the two soup spoons of the fractionated coconut oil. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to gently rub that into your hands and then rinse it off. It's going to keep your hands looking smooth. It's going to get rid of some of those cracks. It's also a soap that I would probably use in the winter time when our hands get very dry. But if you've been cleaning anything, maybe you've been working on your car or any sort of scrubbing or dirty jobs, and in the springtime, I think we tend to use some dirt. We tend to do some dirty jobs. Now is the time to do it. Now, I know a couple of you, more than a couple, actually a whole bunch of you, are thinking of coming to the United States and doing some hiking. And if you've ever done hiking, you know a couple of different things. Number one is usually that there are bugs. And number two is by the end of the day, you can be really dirty. Your hands, your feet, your elbows, whatever you've been kind of using to support yourself can be really dirty. This is a wonderful recipe for you, not just for gardeners. Here's a tool cleaner, 2 liters of water and 10 drops of melaleuca. Again, this can be used to sanitize tools, pots. If you have something on your balcony, you can use this recipe to just kind of take it off. I like using this when I'm replanting something from one pot to another. So if my plants are flourishing and I've had them in tiny pots and now I want to change them, and that could be really anything from a tiny little orchid to a giant cascading plant or bush. It's all good. Make sure that you're kind of sanitizing whatever it is that you're using as you're transplanting your pots. Melaleuca is a great way to do it. We don't want to make it too strong because it could be harsh on the pots and also harsh on the plants. But this 2 liters to 10 drops of melaleuca should be just the amount of disinfection that you need. Okay, so here's a quick garden hack. We want to use companion planting as much as we can. So if you're using your pots, you would be putting them next to each other for different reasons. Some plants support your one plant can support another plant. Using essential oils from appropriate companion plants helps get the plant to get the resources that it needs. It keeps the plant happy. So if you're thinking of using companions, you can do things like basil with tomatoes or lettuce. You can use dill with cabbage, cucumber, lettuce, and onions. You can use rosemary on things like beans, cabbage, and carrots, and sage for cabbage, carrots, and tomatoes. Now, I think most of you who don't have a real live garden, maybe you don't have something as beautiful as this, and I have to tell you, my garden never looked this good as this picture. Never, just never did. I've had some luck, but not like that. That's really amazing. That looks like a professional garden to me. It's huge. Anyway, what I would do is, let's say you're having trying to grow a small tomato plant in a pot on your balcony. And a lot of us, I'm sure, have tried that in the past. This is a wonderful way to support that plant and keep any bugaboos away. Here's the last thing that I'm going to mention to you. The following essential oils: basil, marjoram, oregano, and thyme. Love all garden crops. So even if you are growing just a few herbs in a pot, consider perhaps spraying a little bit on the soil so that your plants feel like they're being supported in one way or another. Just a quickie, thought you would want to know it. And I hope that this is, it's good information for you. White vinegar. Now, many of us use white vinegar to clean our houses, but you can also use white vinegar for a whole bunch of other things, including worms. If you have any sort of worms in your house or in your plants or in your whatever, in your apartment, you can spray a 50-50 mixture of water and vinegar right on them and they'll be poof, gone. You can also use it for cut flowers. So if you get a bunch of flowers, you want to make sure that they stay a little bit more perky. You can put 2 tablespoons of vinegar and 1 teaspoon of sugar for every liter of water. So it's a really large vase and it has more than 1 liter. You want to multiply that. And then finally, washing your veggies, you can make a bath of about 1.5 liters of water and 1 tablespoon of vinegar and kind of rinse everything off. Here's the other thing that I often use when I am washing vegetables and fruits that have come from the supermarket or really from any source. Even if I go to a farmer's market and I think perhaps they're not grown with pesticides, for most of my fruits and vegetables, especially anything that has, a more durable outside skin, I'll be using just my On Guard foaming hand soap. I know it sounds crazy, but it washes away really clean. Do this test anytime you have a chance. Take just a lemon or something with a hard skin. I love a lemon because usually when they're super clean, you can smell them. But take the lemon directly from the bag, directly from the supermarket. Don't do anything to it and just give it a sniff. What does it smell like? Most of the time it smells like nothing. It smells like wax. It smells like plastic. Then take a moment, really wash the skin, and then give it a sniff all over again. And just pay attention to what that beautiful lemon smell is. It's amazing how removing some of those waxes. Of course, if you're going to be grating that lemon peel into any of your recipes, you want to make sure that the peel is well washed. And I would make sure that it's an organic lemon too. But in the event that it's not, at the very least, give it a good wash, folks. You really will thank me later on. When you're a really old lady, you'll be like, wow, I listened to Elena and she told me, and here I am. So there you go. Okay, take a screenshot of this because this is going to give you some really good tips on what you can and cannot use. So for things like just about any kind of bug, arborvitae is your thing. You can use in a spray bottle. You can apply it directly. I know sometimes people have told me if they have ants coming in a little bit of a line, they'll take their finger and just whoop, just wipe along where the ants would come in and the ants stop coming in that way. You can use basil in a sprayer for flies, and then things like cedarwood for bed bugs and fleas. Now, if you have a huge infestation of any of these, you may have to seek out a natural way of getting rid of pests. But if you see 1 or 2 and you want to nip it in the bud, make sure these are the essential oils for you. So you've got eucalyptus, geranium, lavender, lemongrass, patchouli, peppermint, sandalwood, thyme, and white fir. Now, instead of white fir, because we don't have that anymore, I would be using Siberian fir because that's a little bit of an old one. But I love these. I love these tips, and I've used them a lot. Here's the other thing I want you to know. Do you want to grow more flowers? Maybe you have a flowering plant, even just a geranium in a pot. Add some Epsom salt. Even a tablespoon of Epsom salt to a liter of water can help those flowers to grow a little bit bigger. It's the magnesium, and it's critical for seed germination and the production of chlorophyll, and it aids in the absorption of phosphorus and nitrogen. So sulfur is a key element in plant growth, which helps produce vitamins. So when you're using the Epsom salts, you can add a tablespoon to the soil when planting, or you can mix into the soil around established plants. You can also dissolve it, as I said. Actually, it's 1 tablespoon to a gallon of water, and then water it only every 2 weeks. So that would be 4 liters, 1 tablespoon to 4 liters of water, not 1 liter of water. And if you're having pest problems, I would also add in some of your essential oils and do 1-2 punch, right? Protect the plant and fortify it with your Epsom salts, and then also spray down the leaves, especially if you're having any pests. Let's talk a little bit about Diatomaceous Earth. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. If I'm not, let me know. I've mispronounced this word for a while now. I should have done a pronunciation check before I got on. But it is, if you find food grade, and it's called DE, it is composed of basically fossilized water plant and fossilized plants, and it contains 3% magnesium, 5% sodium, 2% iron, 19% calcium, and 33% silicon and trace minerals. And what it does is it basically dries up. I know this sounds terrible. It's used for natural gardeners around the globe, really, as insect control. In addition to the implementation of other methods, people now are actually layering this in the walls of their houses when they do construction, because they realize that it dries out bugs on contact, because it has microscopic sharp edges that cut through an insect's protective exoskeleton. So it sounds really scary, but it's going to work, and it is all natural. So you could use this if you were really struggling with some sort of bug. And I've heard it's particularly good with bed bugs, and many pest control places, natural pest control places, are actually using DE now to keep bed bugs under control. Works great on bugs like ants, aphids, cockroaches, earwigs, mites, snails, slugs, anything that has a soft body, and they have to come in direct contact with the DE, and they'll be instantly dried out. I know, crazy. I had never heard about this until, I want to say, 6 or 7 years ago, but it seems to be a miracle, and it's non-toxic to humans, which is really cool. Okay. After you harvest, or after you, and I have to say, I kind of like these kind of dirty looking hands. I don't know if my hands are ever that dirty. Today I'm super clean, but I'll probably get out and do some gardening, as I said, a little bit later. After you're digging and lifting and plucking or snipping and repotting or whatever, your hands are going to be really dirty. I would use deep blue on my hands. Your hands may be kind of stiff or uncomfortable. You want to give them a good wash, of course. You can use the oil, the stick, the roll-on, the touch, whatever you want, just to get rid of that achiness. Yes, and you can get rid of whatever achiness you may have. And if you're trying to kind of make yourself feel a little bit better, I would be using also my Aroma Touch or my my marjoram. We have a question in the chat asking what's the percentage of DE. You can wear I'm making a quick post in the chat. There we go. But deep blue soothing blend also for chapped hands that have been sitting in water for a while. Things like rose, citrus bliss, mixed with the unscented lotions can be really wonderful. And then any sort of blisters you may have, you want to put lavender oil on them. And then finally, if your nails are really kind of shot and shredded up because you've been digging a lot, use your Correct X, because your Correct X is really the most wonderful thing for any sort of healing. You can use it fingers or toes or elbows or wherever you're feeling a little scratched up. Here's a quick recipe. If you have, going back to those lemons before that we're talking about, and it's funny because I read this 3 times and I was like, Canadian lavender lemonade. Why is it Canadian? And then I realized it has maple syrup in it. So that's why it's Canadian. So a cup of fresh lemon juice. So that's 250 milliliters. Yes, not sure. Cup of fresh lemon juice, half a cup of maple syrup, a liter of water, 2 drops lavender, 2 drops lemon essential oil, but use your maple syrup. It's going to mix really cleanly. It's going to stay mixed instead of using, you might be making lemonade with a simple syrup, which is basically boiling sugar and water until the sugar is completely dissolved, the solids are dissolved, and it does not come apart again. But using maple syrup is going to give you the same thing. If you use the maple syrup, you know that it may actually color the water a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. But if you get that kind of tan look, don't panic, that's natural. And of course you can adjust it for taste and whatever. So take a screenshot of this. I'm going to keep moving on. We've got a few more tips for you that I think you'll like. I love this picture actually, because the lemonade, I don't want to know what they did to make it pink. I'm not sure. Anyway, but it looks really pretty. Melissa, let's talk about Melissa in our gardens. If you've ever grown Melissa, it looks a little bit like mint, right? And I don't know if you know this, but it takes about 1 kilo of lavender to make 5 milliliters of lavender essential oil. 1 kilo, for my US people, that's about, 5 kilos. 5 kilos, 10 pounds of lavender to make 5 milliliters of lavender essential oil, but it takes actually 33 kilos of Melissa to make 5 milliliters of Melissa oil. That's a lot. That's why Melissa is so expensive. And if you're explaining any of these price discrepancies to anybody who's on your team or somebody who's joining for the first time, you've got to talk to them a little bit about not only the quality of the material, how hard or easy it is to grow, how juicy that material is, right? Like I can take a lemon peel and basically squish it like this, and immediately the oil will come out. Not enough for me to capture in a bottle, but certainly if I had some sort of machine that was able to press it, I could probably get enough lemon oil out of it. It's a material that's fairly moist, but obviously Melissa and even lavender and our rose, of course, are very dry and don't give up their oils very easily. That's why they cost a little bit more. Melissa is also called lemon balm. You may be growing it right now in a pot. It's delicious in foods. You can add it to poultry dishes or any vegetable dishes. It does attract bees, so it's great to pollinate your garden. In fact, Melissa means honeybee in Greek, which is super cute. And it does relieve feelings of tension. I use my Melissa a lot. I always feel like these are some, we all have a tendency, I think, to save some of our really special oils for a rainy day. But I'm going to encourage you, especially now as we're getting back out, things are opening up again, bring out your stuff, bring out what you've had in your cupboards. Don't let it expire. Today is the rainy day or today's the sunny day, and you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. So use the oils that you have. In many alternative medicine circles, Melissa is actually considered the most potent essential oil available. So when in doubt, when you're feeling like I'm not sure what to use your Melissa. And of course, you can do things like you can apply it topically, you can use it to flavor different things. It is completely edible, and it blends well with things like, as I mentioned before, poultry dishes or even fish. The best is coming. Summer is around the corner. For those of you who are outside of the United States, I think you're still in a nice hot period, and I think that rainy season will begin for a while. So while it's warm, get out, enjoy the great outdoors. If you haven't planted a pot of something somewhere in your house or in your apartment, get to it now. Use those tips that I mentioned to you to control all the other bugs that are bugging you. And make sure that you really enjoy these next couple of months outdoors and having fun. Many of you I know have kids that are going to be going on break soon, whether you're in the US or outside of the US. I'm hearing from a lot of people, yes, we're going to be celebrating and having a school break, school holiday for a little while. So enjoy that time with your family and really get out there and have some fun. I'm also going to encourage you to get involved. I have to say, doTERRA is a wonderful company, and having been with them for quite a while, they are a company who really rolls up their sleeves and gets into the dirt. If you have the opportunity to go on any of their trips, or you can visit the corporate office, please do so. This September, we're going to be having our first live convention in over 2 years, and that's a game changer. Everyone's invited from all over the world, and I'm inviting you. I hope you're going to show up and really have a wonderful time. I'll be there, and I'll be looking for you. So please look for me. Thank you so much for having been here. I hope that your vegetables look as beautiful as these, even if you don't grow them from yourself. I know everybody has a farmer's market. Support your farmers. They really do need our support. And thank you for having been here. If you have any questions, of course, stick them into the chat. We're going to be, as I said, on our different social media pages. Follow us on Instagram for more tips like these, and we're going to be talking throughout the week. And look forward to our great week next week. We've got tons of surprises. Woohoo! Wow, it's my hair. I guess it's a mess, but that's okay. Take off my hat just to kind of say farewell. And remember, you are amazing. Thank you so much for having been here. Have a wonderful week. Okay, all my live people, please stay on for another minute. Anybody who's listening on YouTube, I'm so happy that you were here. Thank you so much for having joined us. We're going to be back again next week. Get ready for a really big week. If you haven't seen already, we're doing a Reels challenge on Instagram, 30 days of Reels. Yes, 30 days. And it's been a lot to put it together, but I think it's a lot of fun. There's some great tips for essential oils and also some great life tips. I think you're going to enjoy it all. So have a lot of fun, and we'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye now.